Hello everyone and welcome back to Terra Invicta, where last time we captured one of the aliens alive. We rebuilt our fleet from the losses taken in destroying an enemy ship. We captured Europe, and we saw the aliens are now actually seem to be scared of us. They're actively disengaging and running away from our fleets. So that's all looking positive so far. So for this time, well, what we want to do is continue to gain strength in Europe. Particularly, I'm thinking of invading Germany, or liberate Germany from the servants there. Also have my eye on a few of the targets. The aliens may be avoiding my encounters, but there are also things like the Protectorate and the servants in space that we can probably pay some visits to. So yeah, let's keep cracking, let's get on with it. Yes, right off the bat there, we've got a breakthrough, and so we get to choose where to put our points. I think I might just put it all into science, actually. That gives us about 3 months science, or I guess about 2 months science in one batch. Instantly unlock the farm research. Gonna go for space tugs next, quite cheap, and speeds up deliveries of HAB modules. Alien warship project is available, so if we do this we get 5% less damage from alien weapons. Seems really quite cool. Okay, apparently we have committed a wartime atrocity. I don't really see how that's possible, considering we've not been actively engaged, but I suppose it might be a historical atrocity. So either we just accept it, or we can pay restitution, which grants us public opinion boost all around the world. Yeah, definitely do that one. 5,000 isn't that much. Pay off people. Unfortunately, China is now got freedom of the seas. They are going to be able to move their armies once again. We are now blockaded. Yeah, and I think it's because China and India between them have a larger navy than America. Though I should be able to turn around and get the EU to declare war on China, and that should wrap that up. All the exotic materials project has come up, so we can do that very soon. Nice, we got visible combat lasers research done. We were the ones who completed that. Go for gas core fission systems next. It's big research. Hopefully it'll get us there. Really wanting to be able to start competing a little bit with the aliens in terms of our Delta V. Yeah, the EU is going to join in on the United States of America-China war, which now means China is blockaded once again. Okay, so most of the Chinese navies were forced to turn back, but one Chinese and one Indian navy are arriving in Toronto. Oh, and one's arriving in Washington, America. Okay, so I'm sending one army to face these ones, another one to move down and face that invasion. Bright side, this means we can pick off some of the Chinese armies again. Okay, more Chinese armies are coming ashore, but my armies are also getting in position. Alright, and the EU is declaring war on Germany even. Should be a fairly rapid invasion of Germany, I hope. Nice, 31st of July, all of our armies turn up in Toronto. China is going to get its ass handed to it properly. Okay, Pakistan's fired missile tests. They are humanity first controlled, so that's fine with me. Space tugs is complete. So one quality of life thing I'd really like to see about this game is making it a bit easier to compare your current tech with with new tech that comes up. Well, I've just been given the option to research Athena torpedoes. Right, fine, I've got a whole wealth of information here, but in order to check how these compare against my other type, I need to go into the ship designer, wait for that to load, open up a ship design, then click on the torpedoes, and here we go. I can compare my existing tech. See, that's not really what I'm looking for, but there's a really lot of clicks there. It would be nice if there was a quick way to compare on this screen with your existing researched tech. Go for advanced rail cannon. We have quite a few rail cannon armed things. I'm not really seeing any better missiles right now, so go for those. Nice, our armies have arrived in Canada. Their enemies are really being outgunned there. Yep, so whether I want to impose sanctions on Pakistan, I do not. Yeah, it's chasing down the enemy armies. The German armies invaded Paris, so I am turning around. Poland and France fighting Germany once more. Nice. Chinese army in Washington has been destroyed. German 1st Panzer Army has been destroyed. We are promoting our scientist to a senior social scientist. It's moving the last of my armies out to complete the invasion of Toronto. Nice, one Indian army destroyed. Another Indian army destroyed. Chinese army destroyed. There we go. Successfully fought off the invasion. China now has no navies. Okay, so we've got smuggling on one of our stations. I'm going to have the matter quietly looked into. Okay, we didn't catch them, but no negative effects. So, nice. Occupied Hamburg. Move on to occupy East Germany. It's going to pull back my armies from East Germany actually and recover them a bit, taking quite a bit of damage. Send one of the very advanced American divisions over. Okay, so we see some of Germany's supply depots intact. I'm going to have that reinvested into the EU's army.
They won't be causing us any more problems.
And shot one of the servants. Put another Sicarii class battleship into production. Okay, we've got appeals to hope messaging. Gives our public campaigns greater impact. Gonna go for sanctioned investigation, just make it a little easier for us to crack down on enemies.
The online shopping guy and the electric car guy can squabble over Mars all they like, but that's just selling humanity short. Trust me, we can do so much better. Director Khalid Lashkar, during an appearance on late night television.
Okay, that's a pretty lovely little quote there. Okay, but importantly, mission to Saturn is done by the Academy. They're now doing Fall of Empires. And we can now send probes to Saturn. Slight issue with Saturn is the aliens have already got a fair presence here, particularly on Dione. I'm just sending probes en masse to Saturn. It'll take a very long time to get out there, but may as well get them launched. They're really cheap to launch. Just thinking about user interface and usability, it would be a lot nicer if there was a way to mass launch probes. As far as I can tell, the easiest way is from the Intel screen. Alright, they're all sent off. Okay, first Sicarii class battleship has been launched. Just realised that I never sent my fleet back to their home base, so they're just gonna go rendezvous, refuel, and then we'll send them out on a little strike mission with the new command ship. Yay! We're gonna take half a day to resupply. Meanwhile, we're gonna make another attack on East Germany. And the question is, who is gonna be our target? The Servants and the Protectorate both have space stations. They are both definitely threats to us. Servants actively, we're at war with them. The Protectorate are trying to build space bases to keep us from fighting aliens. Both of those seem rather hostile to me. Stations don't look particularly effective. I'm going to go after the Servants just because they are the more direct threat right now. That's the Ban Chao station, and specifically Sierra 1 fleet in orbit of the Ban Chao system. Okay, so looking at this, I have by far superior levels of thrust. They have more Delta V, they have a much better battery, they are armed with crate missile bays, point defense lasers, and a water heat sink. Okay, they're attempting to avoid combat. They can outpace me. I'm going to spend 1 KPS to try and engage them. Oh, they didn't spend any, so we didn't spend any. Yeah, so they're just hoping I was going to leave them alone, but Nope, no such luck on their part. Their fleet is running away from our fleet though, so, well, our fleet is being led by the Ismaili class destroyer, so we do have a missile ship up out front. Oh, missiles are beginning to be launched. They are also firing missiles back, so I'm just going to put in some evasive maneuvers. Okay, they do have a decent laser missile defense here, but we are going to overwhelm them. My point defense isn't enough though. I'm going to lose a ship too. Yep, it's lost its engine. Okay, laser point defenses is something I might need to look into then. Okay, we do actually have the ability to move. Yeah, so yeah, they can move back. Yeah, there's a problem. I had the Ismaili class out first, and that doesn't have any point defenses at all. Okay, so I just need to make sure it's not, the fleet isn't being led by an Ismaili class. Okay, can repair. Gonna take 8 days, not too many resources to repair that one ship. Okay, United Kingdom and Russia have agreed to end the Russian-Argentina war. Denmark has a new army. Okay, refueling and resupplying. I like the big ship there. It's starting to get really quite sizable. Nice for taking control of the Hamburg region. That is the German Democratic Republic conquered. So now we have full control over Germany. The American division's going to move back to America. Alright, outright conquered it. I thought it's just going to change its control points, but because the European Union had a claim, they've just completely conquered Germany, so Germany's just part of the EU now. The servants are at war with the Protectorate. That's quite interesting. Well, it's going to take me a while to get enough fuel to fully refuel my fleet, but they are fully rearmed. So since I've just taken out the defences on Banqiao Station, I'm going to turn around, return there, see if we can assault it. Okay, so we should be able to assault this hub. 77% chance. Yeah, let's go for it. There we go, we have captured the base. Banqiao Station is now ours. Seems to have taken significant damage in the assault. So arrested one of the servants' councillors. Wildfires will help put those out. Russia's declared war on Colombia. We've got advanced rail cannons. And I've seen how good these point defense laser turrets were at taking out incoming missiles, so I think I'm going to invest in those. So right now we're using railguns as point defense. I don't think they're the best thing there. Okay, so we've got mission to the inner planets, so Mercury and Venus. They're now working on ultraviolet combat lasers. Okay, Venus has no moons. We could put something in orbit of it, but I don't see the point right now. Definitely going to probe Mercury though. Only 139 days, it's not bad at all. Killed another one of the servants. Got our point defense lasers already, that really didn't take long. Gonna do a couple of these cheap techs to give me more bonuses to direct investment. Since I've got quite a lot of resources, I could just start pumping that in to improve some of my countries. Humanity First have sent a fleet into low Mars orbit. Okay, pretty interesting. Assuming they've got a way to refuel this fleet. Okay, Protectorate have conquered Iraq. Strategic lobbying is done. Do regulatory capture next. Brilliant. We have managed to turn one of the servants to our cause. They're basically going to act as a mole inside the servants for us, giving us loads of information. Nice. I can set them so they will always fail missions when they're less than... I left it on the default code a little bit, but I'll just put it back to the default, so when they're less than 50% chance of succeeding, they will always fail. There you go, got a bunch of information about the servants, resource numbers, their objectives, all of their tech. Very useful. And locations on their operatives. I'm actually just going to adjust that. I'd prefer to keep around as a mole, so I'm just going to have her automatically fail any very, very unlikely missions, so it doesn't raise much suspicion, and that should let me assassinate a bunch of blokes. And very nice, we have completed the Hydra language project. Okay, so yeah, their language is based twofold, so they have an auditory component, which is like ours, and then this ferrocite-based aspect, which conveys the emotional context. Okay, so we can sort of communicate with them, but not very well, because we don't really have the chemical knowledge to convey any sort of finer points. So next objective is to interrogate the captive. While I'm waiting for that to pop up, I'm going to begin researching exotic materials. I'd say it better part 2 years, but seems like a good thing to get. Okay, the assets immediately go on silent. I think they were quickly discovered. Yeah, now that I've waited enough days, I can do unification. So Poland's going to join the EU and start adding together all of the European countries that I control into the EU mega bloc. But before my person got shot, they did tell me what all of their fellow councillors were. Shot one of the servants. Okay, Greece is going to join, so I've just lost the defense on it. So this avoids me having to get defense on it. Go for the Baltic states next. And go for Slovakia. It's giving us another new army there. Another Sicario battleship has been launched. Got a regulatory capture. So I'm going to do transnational investments. And should be able to quite cheaply put in a lot of money into beefing up some of my countries. The Protectorate has done the Fall of Empires. They're now working on space medicine. That's going to unlock a load of projects to break up America, India, Brazil, China, Russia, and Aquitaine. Breaking up China might be quite a bit of help. Another servant dead. Okay, Denmark can join EU Superbloc. And finally, Ireland. There we go. A large amount of the EU is now completely controlled by us. Servants have been completely kicked out of Europe. Probably going to turn my attention towards some of the Protectorate holdings in Europe next. So they've got the Czech Republic and they've got Norway. Well, I think to round off today, since we've kicked the servants out of Europe and really strengthened our hold on Europe, I think it's time to kick the servants out of space, or at least out of low Earth orbit. They have one station left. I'm going to remove it. So we go Earth Shield with its 2 Sicarii ships has arrived. 89% chance to assault it with our 6 assault teams. And there we go. It took a fair bit of damage in the fighting, but we can rebuild. So there we go, once that's repaired, basically putting in some extra military things to support our efforts to expand on Earth. That is the servants now completely kicked off of Earth itself. They do still have bases elsewhere. Particularly notable is they do have a really good base on Mars that I want to take over. I'll need to work out how to do assaults there. They do have a site on the moon, but it's not a particularly good one, to be honest. So I think I need to send a councillor out to direct the assault on a base, but we can certainly look into doing that. Yeah, it's this one, Argaea Planitia. A lot of water, I'd like to grab that. Also a fair amount of volatiles. Wait, that's mine. I'm getting confused with the symbols here. Promethei Terri, that's the one I wanted. A lot of water. And of course I'm going to continue to weaken the servants by destabilizing India and China. Maybe build up enough strength so that at some point I can invade, especially doing some direct investments once those techs go through, can start building navies to do a proper large-scale invasion. But I think that's a good place to leave that there. We have captured Europe, we have sent the servants running, we've started to talk to the aliens, definitely making progress. If you are enjoying this, please do like, comment, subscribe, all really does help the channel, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Until then, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers!